Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I said this on many occasions, and that is NATO troops, which is United States troops, on various countries like Romania or Poland or Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, in Czech Republic, Slovakia, wherever they might be. I consider them an occupation force. Why? Because that's no reciprocity over there. So if, let's say, let's get a case of Romania. The Americans bring troops in Romania. The Dutch bring troops. I think there's some Spaniards bring troops over there. Germans are over there. A lot of countries have troops in Romania. Now, if that would be not under occupation, you would have Romanian troops in Spain. You would have Romanian troops in other areas. Or United States of America defending the western flank of NATO. But no, it's always unidirectional. And that's why these troops, I think, are actually occupying the countries they are deployed to defend from the boogeyman. Whomever Al Capone designates as the boogeyman at that particular time. And everybody else is just listening like dumb. Just, yeah. So I'm going to show you how the Poles who have balls, they have balls. The Poles have balls. They might not have other things, but they have balls and they're not dumb. And they have a long and strong memory. And that's the problem. They have a strong memory and they have balls. Problem not for me, but for their surrounding countries. I'm going to show you. Now, the Romanians have no problem having on their territory German troops deployed. That's fine. But the Poles have a problem with that. Now, why is that? The Poles do not want German troops deployed on their territory, and call them occupying forces. But the Romanians and other lizards and weasels, these weasels, they do not have a problem. So let me show you. First, I will start with the article, both from the enemy, which is Russia Today, right? November 7th. Germany to deploy tank battalions to Russian border. All right? So it says the Defense Ministry announced that 2 units will join NATO's forward presence battle group in Lithuania. So Lithuania has no problem with that. German Defense Ministry has announced that it will deploy 2 tank battalions to Lithuania, which will form a new brigade together with NATO's joint forward presence battle group, which is already stationed in the Baltic nation. The new unit, which is expected to come into being in 2025, will be made up of almost 5,000 military personnel in total. You got that? All right. So we have at least 5,000 military personnel in Lithuania. Lithuania has no problem with that. It says here, there are currently about 1,700 troops from 6 NATO member state stations in the Baltic nation. Half of them are German service members. Right? All these guys. Remember, if you look at the history at the Lithuanians and the Germans, Second World War, not a good history. And now we're going to go how the Poles will see such a deployment on their territory of German troops. And not only German, but here it is, Russia Today. Ex-German diplomat slammed for, quote-unquote, Occupy Poland proposal. Now, Occupied Poland proposal is not what the German diplomat suggested. This is the interpretation of the Poles with balls, the healthy interpretation of the German diplomat. And the German diplomat, I think, is the former ambassador. So, Arndt Freitag von Loringhoven penned an op-ed suggesting Berlin should permanently station troops in the neighboring country. Polish conservatives, doesn't really matter, Polish, it's good enough, denounced a suggestion from the former German ambassador to the country that Berlin should permanently station troops there in order to strengthen the nation's relationship. And a former NATO intelligence chief, advocated the move in an op-ed published by Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung last week. And I'm quoting, with the upcoming strengthening of NATO's eastern flank, a closer integration of the German and Polish armed forces and, in the longer term, a permanent transfer of troops to Poland are in the interest of both sides, he said. So I'm going to come into your house and we're going to benefit both of us. Okay, you got that? All right. Now, Law and Justice, MEP, Jacek Saryusz-Wolski, the Pole with the balls, sarcastically suggested it was a slippery slope from von Loringhoven's proposal to Nazi occupation, asking, and I'm quoting, any associations, in a post on X, formerly Twitter, quoting the article, and I'm quoting the Pole with the ball. Soon, thanks to the new EU treaty, Germany will once again permanently occupy the territories of Western Poland? ? Constitutional Court Justice Kristina Pavlovich warned in a post on X, also in response to von Loringhoven's piece, and I'm quoting, Hitler's dreams will come true after many years without the use of force. Pavlovich lamented excoriating Poles for offering, quote-unquote, no resistance to the incoming EU-friendly government of Donald Tusk, which is not 100% there. I'm going to tell you why. However, a journalist will liberal, blah, 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 blah. And it says, mistrust in Poland is still high. After what? 8 years almost? The diplomat complained, internal polarization and anti-German and anti-European inflammatory propaganda. All right? My point here is that some countries have no problem, even though they suffered from the German occupation. Remember, Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia, Romania, they're all under German occupation, as was Poland. And still, only the Poles say, wait a minute, you're going to have troops on my territory? Are you crazy? I would say, if I would be a Pole, I would say, yes, we're going to have the same number of troops in your country as you have in our country, around Berlin, preferably. All right? See how the Germans will react. They will say, no, 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 the flank is over there. The boogeyman is over there, not here. So these guys see it as an occupation. The Romanians, weasels, don't see it that way. Why? Well, because the Poles have balls. I told you that. Now remember, let's go back to Tusk's government. So there were elections a month ago or so where the Law and Justice Party, which is the party, they won the majority. So they got the majority, like 20-some%, I think, or 30%. Anyway, they got the most votes of everybody else. But their coalition, that they were a government, the coalition government, does not go above 51 together, because the other parties that were in the coalition, they lost, they didn't win, they lost numbers, percentages. Therefore, the coalition they had before goes below 51, below 50. On the other hand, the Tusk and those garbage, they got the leftists, the communists, let's put it this way. Why? Because I don't like them. They got not more than the other ones, all right, the Law and Justice, but their coalition gained, the possible coalition gained more. So potentially these guys could form a government and these guys get out of power. Now, the president of Poland, I think, says, I will allow the party in charge, because that's how you do it over there. The party who has the most votes, which was the Law and Justice, I will give them the opportunity to form a coalition government if they reach 51%. If they can't reach 51% with a coalition, I'm going to go down to the next party that won the percentages, and which is Tusk's party, the communist. I'm just using that one, okay? And if these guys can get 51%, then they will get to form a government, even though Tusk's party has less votes and percentages than the guys that could not form the coalition government. Now, if Tusk cannot, let's say, form the coalition, I think they go lower to the next one, and if the next one can form it, then these guys, even if they have the most potential, let's say, even though that thing is 23, you need them. So I don't think it can go to the third one. So in this case, it's not going to be, because it's over 25. One is like 26 or 30. Together we go over 50, unless they go together, the communists with the other guys, and then screw everybody, which is not going to happen. So it's not yet certain that Law and Justice Party will say, oh, we lost, if they cannot form the government. Maybe they can form it by forming alliances, go over 51 and say, you, Tusk, and the communists and the EU. So that's why we're going to find out. My point here is this. These guys, which is the Poles, they understand exactly how things are. The other guys refuse. They ignore it. They ignore reality. Troops on your territory, foreign troops. They're not your allies, not your friends. You know, and if you bring troops, I should bring over their troops as well. Reciprocity. But anyway, it's like, for instance, there's a party at your house, and it's just you providing everything, and you know, all the people coming here, the guests don't bring anything. Well, you can do that once, you can do it twice, 3 times, but then you can look at the obvious. Oh, I'm providing everything. Now, if you have the money, that's fine. You still have, you know, you're the one. But wouldn't be nice for the other ones to bring something in, you know, that is, you know, together. The same, if you bring troops here, I should bring over their troops as well. Reciprocity, right? Somehow here, no. All right, my friends, the Poles have balls, as I said. I like that. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.